All right, stop. Get over here. We got to do a transition.
Okay, I'm trying.
You just got to brush your feet along the ground.
These are new shoes.
Jump off. Jump off. Jump off. You won't. You won't. See? Told you won't. You're too scared. That's not even a jump off. That's a fly off. All right. Anyway, we're going to do a transition for...
Virtual high school.
Nah. Because we might have... All right. Yeah, here's a virtual high school transition. It's actually an interview with Mr. Doyle.
So actually you can see someone is swinging.
Where are you going with this?
Someone is swinging on the swing, and you cannot see them. They are virtual.
And we're at an elementary school, so you're going to tie that together? That's what I thought.
Yeah, so I tried really hard, and so we have a swing happening behind us, and so we have an interview with Mr. Doyle about VHS. So why don't you go check that out?
Hi, I'm Breezy Hagel here with Mr. Doyle talking about the virtual high school. So what is VHS?
VHS, or the Virtual High School, is an online education system that Norristown School District is enrolled in.
Okay, so who all can do it?
So anyone in the school can do it, but we only have 20 slots. The 20 slots that we have, we get in exchange for one of our staff members acting as a teacher in the system. We really prefer juniors and seniors to do the work just because of its rigor and the maturity it takes to sort of stay on point. But you could do it at any grade level. But again, there are only 20 spaces available any given year. Have
we filled all 20 spots?
Hardly ever do we fill those spots. And part of that's because of a lack of publicity about it. And back when we were running the SLC program a few years back, it was very difficult for kids to find their way into VHS. Now we're starting to grow again. So last year we had a smaller number. This year I guess we're at 15 kids.
So why do most students choose to do it?
So most kids choose to do VHS because they want a course that we don't offer. So the virtual high school offers about 230 different classes, many of which we offer, but some that we just don't have the capacity to. And so if you were interested in astronomy, you might be able to take in your senior year in a half-year astronomy course. If you were interested in romantic literature or epic poetry as an idea unto itself, if you were interested in organic chemistry, which we don't really offer here, you could take those specific courses to take things we don't have. And there's some AP courses we don't offer you can take as well. But the other reason is for kids who want to take a course that they can't get because it's a singleton. So for instance, I teach philosophy period 1. If you have AP statistics, you can't take philosophy. If you have philosophy, you can't take AP statistics. VHS would provide you a way to take that AP statistics course somewhere else so you could get the other singleton here at Norristown.
Okay. So what would you say are some of the advantages and disadvantages to taking this online course?
So that feels like two different questions.
Well,
but
okay.
The advantages are, number one, it's a great resume booster. It looks great on your transcript to have some of these higher level or at least very specific interesting courses when you're approaching certain schools. So if you really were interested in astronomy and you were applying to schools, your Norristown transcript without VHS wouldn't show any significant ability to be directed towards astronomy. But by taking that course, it offers you a leg up that other schools might not have offered their kids when you're approaching a college. So you're going to MIT and you've taken a course in engineering in VHS, it may help you look like a stronger student. So that's one of the advantages. The other thing is that it really does force people to be much more rigorous in their academic procedure. We, as a rule, in a face-to-face classroom are kind. So no matter what, we give some flexibility about deadlines. We're conscientious about your personal life in the classroom in a way that VHS doesn't need to be. Now they can be, but they don't need to be. And as a result, your level of responsibility is increased, and that's a good skill for you to learn. The third advantage, I would say, is that every one of you in Norristown is going to take an online course in college. It's become part of living in college now to take an online course. So to get the practice of doing it out of the way in high school where it counts for much less and it doesn't cost you money is a substantial benefit.
Okay, now with an online course, do they still have a teacher that's available for questions?
They do. What's interesting about VHS is it's an asynchronous classroom. And asynchronous means it doesn't happen in time sequence. And so in many online courses, you're given sort of an ILS status. You are given a pile of work to do, and you have to turn it in by a certain date, and you're responsible to do whatever you do during that period of time. VHS uses the Blackboard online system, and they have structured it in such a way that you are in class every day. They actually want you to log in and work every single day. You do get class assignments on a Wednesday that are due, for the most part, the next Tuesday. But in that block of time, there are communications threads, like discussion threads, where people will be having conversations, students will be conversing with each other. And so if you were to post at 10 a.m., a student from Florida might post at 10:45, a student in California might post at noon, and you would then be able to go back and be a part of what is a long-term discussion. The teacher also is monitoring that all day long. There's also a private thread where you can ask the teacher personal questions or relate personal issues you have. Like, for instance, if you went off to a DECA conference and couldn't be in class for 2 days, you could let the teacher know that, and they might or might not give you some flexibility around that, depending on that personal private relationship. The teacher's giving you assignments. They are sometimes appearing in the classroom. They are responding to everybody's discussion points. So if you think about a one-on-one classroom, today in English class you get asked a question, and your teacher talks to the class and everybody gives their opinion. But the teacher only has time to respond to 2 or 3 of those kids. In VHS, the teacher responds to every student's comment. And as a result, your feedback is vastly increased in the teacher's relationship.
Are any of the teachers at the high school VHS teachers?
So right now, Ms. Gribben is teaching psychology in the program, but she's retiring.
Okay.
And as a result, we're going to have Mr. Deneno taking on the course. I don't know what he's going to be teaching. It sometimes depends on what VHS wants. I taught as a VHS teacher for 9 years, I guess. And I taught creative writing in the program. So yeah, we have someone who's doing it. Ms. Gribben's been really successful in the psychology program, which is really popular on VHS. And again, I don't know what Mr. Deneno will be starting next year.
Okay, so now that you're no longer a VHS teacher, what is your role with Virtual High School now?
So I'm sort of like the virtual high school guidance counselor.
Okay.
I'm the on-site virtual high school coordinator. That means if someone wants to take a virtual high school course after they let their guidance counselor know they want to do it, they need to see me to enroll both in virtual high school and then in their specific classes. I am the one who administers the grading, so I get grades from VHS and I post them. I'm the one who would communicate if there was personal problems between teachers and students, or if there was difficulties with materials coming in, that kind of stuff.
Okay, now I know you mentioned tuition. Does it cost anything for the students?
So there's 2 kinds of virtual high school, one that costs nothing for the kids and one that can cost something. The standard virtual high school classes don't cost anything. We have 20 spaces, and if you enroll and we don't go over that 20, there's no cost. The district is providing this as a service to kids who have these special interests.
Okay.
There is also something called VHS Connections, which we only entered last year because we had students who wanted to continue with German, and VHS offers a very limited language component because language is hard to do online.
Yeah.
So this virtual high school connections, this VHS Connections is different. It's a slightly different structure. That program costs the district per course about $380. If you get less than a C in the course, less than a 75, you pay for the course.
Okay.
If you get above a 75, the district pays for it.
Now, you also mentioned if you take like statistics, you can't take philosophy just because of like scheduling. How does it affect their schedule?
Yeah, so VHS is like the perfect schedule solution. You can take it any period of the day.
Okay.
You must have a period you can take it in. We have had students who have taken more than one VHS course, and one of those has been after school hours.
Okay.
But the student has to have quite a GPA to be able to trust that they can handle the rigor of the work. And so, yeah, you need a period during the day. It just fills whatever slot's empty.
Okay, so where do they go to take their courses?
So at this point, they go to the library. Mr. Schmalbach acts as the person who does their attendance, but that's his only responsibility. Otherwise, they would see me for that kind of work.
Okay, and what are some of the most popular courses within VHS?
Yeah, so there's some writing courses that are really popular, creative writing, poetry writing, those courses. There's AP Computer Science, AP Chemistry, AP Physics B and C, extraordinarily popular. Kids like to take those. In many cases, the online system provides some interesting benefits for those classes.
Okay, so going back to the teachers, where are the teachers from? Is that their only job is to work for virtual high school? Or are they most other teachers like us where all over the country.
One of the great things about VHS is you're talking to real classroom teachers who have real classes. So it's not somebody who is hired to just run online courses. They're in a regular class 6 periods a day or 5 periods a day, and they're teaching virtual high school 1 period's worth of time a day. Their relationship with students is a relationship you would have. They're not just some academic person who is stepping on board and playing with a computer. And what's cool is you're being taught by people all across the country. So when I was teaching VHS, I was teaching kids in Thailand, I was teaching kids in China, in Buenos Aires, and in Massachusetts, in California, and Pennsylvania. I actually was teaching a kid who was in Springfield, Delaware County, who I could have visited if I wanted to, get me? And so we could actually talk about things locally. I understood why he couldn't get his homework done when there was a hurricane, you get me? So it's all across the country, and in the same way you're talking to teachers potentially who could be anywhere in the country, primarily from New England. That's where VHS started.
Okay, so if someone's interested in enrolling in VHS, who should they talk to?
First thing they should do is go and look at www.govhs.org. And once they've looked at govhs.org, they can see if they really want to do it. Then they should talk to their guidance counselor, and then they should see me.
Okay, so what type of student should be looking into this? Should it be a B average student, an A average student, honors?
Yeah, so it's a student who does their work. VHS is very rigorous. When you talked about disadvantages, one of the disadvantages is the courses are extremely rigorous. Their standard courses are similar in the workload to some of our honors courses. That's not a slam on Norristown's classes, it's just about the fact that these folks work at a very specific national standard that's extremely high. So there is some pressure to have those courses to be really rigorous. And as a result of being online, the workload is different. So in our classes, because of our scheduling, we're used to 2 8 periods for a block day and another 8-period day. In VHS, they're really thinking you're going to school every day for about 40 minutes, and they're expecting you to work for 40 minutes. And so there is a level of rigor. So it's someone who does their work. Like, that's one thing I would say. Someone who doesn't put things off to the last minute. It's also someone who digs being educated. Like, if you like the course you're in, you're going to do well.
Exactly.
And that's what it's really about. It's about embracing the passion you have for a class. It's not for students interested in remediation, and it's not for students who want an easy way out. So it's not an easy solution to our school's problems. It's a challenging, rigorous program with teachers who don't know you personally, and so they expect you to be student rather than this particular student.
So are the courses, do they have to be a year long, or can they be half-year courses?
So what's cool and what's really made a difference this year is because of the elective system we've started to establish here in the high school, most courses are half-year courses.
Okay.
So you could actually take 2 different courses in a year. AP courses, of course, are full year. So that's it, but most of them are half-year courses.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Only that I hope students try it out. It's really cool. I feel like many kids miss opportunities here at Norristown because we just don't know about it. So part of talking about it here is to get kids to know that there's this cool thing they could be involved in. There are other online systems that we work with. There are other online systems you can take. But I think the virtual high school provides some really strong benefits to our kids.
Okay. Thank you for being here. I'm Breezy Hagel here talking with Mr. Doyle about the virtual high school. Now back to the Eagle's Eye.